Right now at 5:30, a busy day in the race for the White House on the heels of the vice president's return to the Bay Area over the weekend. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump was focused on cyber issues today, while the Democratic ticket is fanning out across the country to reach more voters. Joining us live now is Professor David McCuan from Sonoma State University. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to join you.
Now, Vice President Harris has been riding a wave of momentum these days, but protesters are not going to stop pressing her to commit to an arms embargo on Israel. Could that issue slow that momentum, especially with college students about to head back to campus?
Yeah, great place to start. I mean, if you look at what's happened and how the dynamics of this race have changed, clearly the entry of Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, has changed the trajectory in the polling. Part of that is obviously how 18 to 34-year-olds feel. Now, this is a problem measuring 18 to 34-year-olds as one block. They're very different at 18, 24, 25, and so on. But nonetheless, if Kamala Harris and Democrats are going to take the White House, they have to win 18 to 34-year-olds. If you look at the issue of Gaza, Israel, and what's going on there, they see the issue in different terms. They see the issue as a social justice issue, as a fairness issue, and that could lower the enthusiasm. That would be particularly important in states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and certainly in Georgia, those battleground states, and even Nevada. So college students, if you will, are going to be a hugely important demographic for Democrats, and they have to get them out to the polls. And Gaza could be a flashpoint, certainly this fall in the campaign.
Meanwhile, former President Trump was supposed to be making an appearance with Elon Musk right now. Sounds like there's some sort of technical issue going on with X. And this weekend, the Trump campaign accused Iran of stealing what appears to be information on Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance. What do you make of all of this? Are they sort of in crisis mode?
Oh, they are in crisis mode. And this problem of misinformation, malinformation, disinformation, the role of AI, what's happening with technology is going to be front and center throughout this campaign over the next 85 days. But the Trump campaign could have taken a lesson here from the DeSantis campaign. Some of your viewers might remember when Ron DeSantis announced on Twitter Spaces that he was going to run for president or try to secure the Republican nomination. It was a total disaster. And Elon Musk is a prominent and very important supporter of Donald Trump. But there are issues and capacity there and what's going on. There have been changes in staff, capability, and so forth. So that's a problem. But in a broader sense of things, the Trump campaign needs to get their mojo back. They don't have their mojo back. And Kamala Harris has had a longer honeymoon as a result, as Democrats head to Chicago next week to start their convention on the 19th.
I can imagine the challenge, though, for the Harris campaign is going to be to keep that momentum going and also defending her record here in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Trump campaign, the professionals in the Trump campaign know how to attack Kamala Harris, and they haven't been able to do that yet because, well, Donald Trump hasn't been able to get back on message. And part of that message is a policy focus. The focus on who she is, on what she is, all of that becomes a problem personally and for Donald Trump. There needs to be greater discipline. You're not going to teach a 78-year-old man new tricks. And in that result, it's going to require an additional set of skills by his campaign team to get back. Now, the Harris team, they know this is coming. So they want to keep this obviously going as long as possible. But right now, we see a change in the polls, not just in registered voters, but likely voter polls and in swing state polls. She's still not in a place that gives her this race. She needs to be about 5 points or higher in those swing state polls. She's not there. But she has certainly changed the race and moved it away from Donald Trump, which looked to be a sure thing, say, 3 weeks ago. All that dynamic has changed. But Trump and his team haven't found their footing, and money's being held back as a result. And that really worries them, too.
I just want to remind our viewers the Trump campaign lashed out the Democratic Party over the weekend. We referred to this earlier, falsely accusing the vice president of using AI images to show larger crowds at her rallies. What do you think their message now needs to be? It seems like they're struggling to find a line of attack that really resonates with voters. Do you think they can find it?
Well, if they're focused on policy, if they're talking about economic issues, pocketbook issues, that's important. They have returned to the messaging that the world is on fire. That fire analogy is going to be important because they're going to talk about crime, they're going to talk about immigration, and they're going to talk about economic conditions. But right now, that's J.D. Vance and Donald Trump's proxies. It's not the principal himself. And until the principal, the candidate, returns to those messages, it's going to be a problem. The problem isn't, the 35, 36% of Donald Trump's, vote that he gets from Republicans. And then it's those swing voters that get him to about 46, 47. That caps him out. So he needs to get to a place, if they're going to win, where they win some of those swing state voters, the 5 people who haven't decided what they're going to do this particular election. And right now, Democrats have that momentum and they're carrying it forward. Oh, and Kamala Harris raised $12 million in one day here in San Francisco. That's a lot of money. And as a result, Democrats are feeling that wind in their sails and pushing forward. This is making for a very exciting, but also tight and contentious race, particularly between Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, as they move through who they are, not just the issues, which voters obviously want to hear more about as well.
Yeah, of course, a lot can happen between now and Election Day. We've seen that.
Right. 85 days between now and the fun. That's about 2,000 hours.
But who's counting, right?
Who's counting?
Professor David McCuan, always great to see you, sir.
Nice to see you. Thanks for letting me be on.